With the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns now, Gary Danielson. Gary, want to welcome you to the show today.
Thank you.
And listen, boy, everything was going just great for you. And then in the New England game, going to make a tackle. Well, you did. Did you actually separate your shoulder? Or?
No, I was a sprain, a sprain the rotator cuff, which is a tough injury for a thrower. And it's responded now, though. I'm pretty much back to 100% and can play this week if need be.
Okay. Well, in other words, have they named the starting quarterback for the Washington?
Yeah, I think Bernie's going to start, and he should. I haven't been able to practice, and Bernie's doing a good job, and we don't want to upset things.
Yeah, I see. Well, speaking of good jobs, I mean, before the injury, you were doing a super job for the Browns, and I think everybody thought that, of course, when Bernie Kosar was signed, that he would come right in and be the starter, but you were doing so well, it was hard to take you out of the line.
Well, I appreciate that, and, it's not, I've played well in past years, and it was really, I wasn't playing out of the ordinary. I was just trying to do my job, and that's why they brought me in here, to get some depth at quarterback. And if we're going to win the championship this year, you're not going to do it with one guy. And I think that Bernie's come along now and just really improved. And I think I can come back in and play, and I know Paul can play. So we've got some strength at the position.
Well, how do you feel about the overall feeling of the Browns? Of course, you were with Detroit for so many years there, and then now to come with the Browns. How do you figure? What do you think about this?
I really enjoy it. It's a real character football team. They've got a lot of good personalities on the team, and they play very hard, and I think it carries over to everybody. They're from the defensive backs to the offensive linemen to the way our running backs run with the ball, and it's a team that wants to win very badly, and we work very hard, and our staff works very hard, and when you got all those things going, sooner or later you're going to get a championship going, and I just hope I'm around here long enough, and hopefully it's this year. But if it isn't, it's going to be coming very quickly.
Well, now, boy, this is, the NFL has become, it's almost mostly a passing game, but now the Browns this year are featuring a strong running attack.
Well, I think those figures may be changing a little bit. The winning good teams are running the ball more and more because passing teams, you're going to run into a passing team that's going to beat you, and they're going to get hot, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I think week in and week out, you have to play sound defense, and you have to run the ball. And if you look at all the good football teams, from the 49ers last year to the Browns, the Steelers when they were good, and the teams that can run the football, and that's the way we're going to start, and we're going to be that type of team.
Well, speaking of the running backs, these guys are not necessarily, they're not the big names, but Ernest Byners, the Kevin Max, Greg Allens, guys like that, a lot of people haven't really heard of them, but they're going to hear from these guys, right?
Well, we think so. We got to fit it all together, and our offensive line has been blocking very good this year, and you just can't run the ball 10 times and expect people to run well. In Detroit, I was just handing off to Billy Sims, and we knew that you had to give him the ball. For him to run 130 yards, you had to give it to him 30 times. And, our guys have a lot of talent, and they want the football, and that's fun to see.
The quarterback position is of course, a high-profile position. You guys get a lot of the credit when you win, but a lot of the blame when you lose. But you mentioned the offensive line. They're really an important part of a team, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They, nothing really works if those guys don't do their job. You can have all the good skilled people you want, but if you don't have time to throw, give time for those guys to run their routes, you just are wasting your money, really. And but it's not as easy as just to say to good blockers. You have to have this scheme of offense that takes advantage of their stunts, knows what they're doing, prepare your offensive line to put them in the best position possible, because you can make an offensive line, a good offensive line, look bad by just doing plays that are tough to block and getting in a lot of long-yarded situations. This year we've tried to concentrate on not getting into those 3rd and 10 where we put a lot of pressure on our guys. So, it all has to work together, and I think that's why we're doing well.
Okay, you